Hive has one main goal, which is helping customers grow. They're mostly small businesses and they want to focus on growing their own business and not on operations.
How do you manage culture? How do you combine those who are there at the warehouses and those who are sitting with their laptops across Europe?
We want people that know, okay, I'm here because I want to grow personally, but also I want to grow this business.
Fast growth can stretch culture thin easily.
It's normal that values or the whole culture develops, but I also think it's important to have these core values to be able to take decisions based on that.
What is that one unpopular opinion about HR work?
I personally really believe that we're a team, not a family.
Super excited to host our today's guest, Charlotte Theiß, who's leading people at Hive. We'll talk about people, tech, trends, and what's ahead. Charlotte, your path to HR is pretty unique. You started in fitness and health and somehow ended up doing HR. How did that happen? And when did it start feeling like the right fit?
Yeah, basically I studied sports science and then in my master's more on the health side, coaching wise, because I wanted to make my hobby a profession, which I then did. I worked many years in the fitness industry, and there I was mostly a personal trainer in not a usual gym, but a gym that was focused on performance and focused on real high quality personal training. And it was also kind of a startup flair because we opened up a new gym in Munich. I was directly responsible for the personal trainer team there, which is super exciting. Went super well. We opened up another club. It is a Frankfurt-based company. And as we were doing pretty well in Munich, I was at some point then responsible for a few clubs in Munich and in Frankfurt. And that's also, I think, how the transition started. Because at some point when you have a lot of responsibility for the team, you're not on the floor anymore every day. So you do some HR tasks naturally, let it be shift planning or vacation planning. And our HR team was in Frankfurt. Therefore, I was there in Munich and hiring, doing the team setups, etc. So I think I was already doing HR without knowing that I was doing HR. And it kind of felt good. I was overall 7 years in the fitness industry, which was amazing. But I also felt I want to do something else. I want to do something more. And that's how I started that transition, basically.
Like an intellectual challenge you were craving.
Basically.
Is fitness and health still a big part of your life?
It is, but now it's a hobby again. And that's the main difference now.
Happy about that?
Yes, definitely. Because everything I learned back then, every experience I made, for me personally, I can still use it. Because it's a lot of knowledge I gained, a lot of experience on that. It's something that some people start later on thinking about because they feel, oh, my back hurts, etc. But if you already have that base, I feel like a lot of things are a bit easier. Of course, you start a second career a bit later, but with that as a background.
Now I'm wondering if Hive has urban sports as a corporate benefit.
Yes, we do. In Germany, we do.
And would you say that knowledge in health and fitness is somehow engraved in your HR DNA, in your work with people?
I think it is. Not always consciously, but subconsciously, 100%. Especially when we think about simple things like, what kind of desks do we get? Like the ones that we can move up and down or the ones that are stable. It makes...
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, it's small things, but yes, it does make a difference. Also more on health is always two dimensions, like the mental aspect and it's also the physical aspect. Do we do any sporty activities on our offsites, or do we offer mental or like urban sports, for example? Of course, we also ask the people what they're interested in, but I do have this very much on my radar because I saw a lot of people that ended up in personal training because I did not take care of what they should have taken care of. to be able to perform. Yeah.
100%. Before we dive deeper into the rest of the questions, maybe you can shortly explain what Hive is for those who is not aware. Not sure if that's possible, but maybe you could give a short intro as well as maybe tell about what you are doing there in particular, what you're focused on building currently.
Yeah, happy to. So Hive has one main goal, which is helping customers grow. Our customers are mostly small internet businesses. So a lot of them advertise on social media. For them, it's super important to have a close contact to their customers, lovely unboxing experiences. So they're like super close to them and have special requirements for operations. They're mostly small businesses and they want to focus on growing their own business and not on operations, such as, ordering freight, negotiating delivery prices, etc. And also they don't have a huge volume, so they don't get the best prices. This is what we can offer them.
I also feel like usually founders of consumer brands and, fashion brands, they're more creative and don't want and rather are sort of forced into that like heavy operations part if it is required.
Yeah. It's necessary for them to ship their products. And we're there to help them do that. So that's like the one aspect that Hive has, the operations. So from freight support, packaging, we do have fulfillment centers where we have the physical products. We ship them out from there. But we also have the tech aspect, which is on the one side, the whole warehouse management system. The whole IT there is built by us. We started back then with, we print out every label. We print out every order and then take it in a basket, walk to the aisle. Super cute, but of course not scalable. That's why we started building the whole software around that. And the other dimension is, of course, for our clients or the merchants. They want to see how much do I have in stock from product A and how fast do I need to restock that? What are my analytics around that? And the third dimension is for the end customer, because they obviously also want to see when does my product arrive. And those are like on the one side, the tech perspective from Hive, but on the other side, also the operations, the core, basically.
Definitely. Hive is not this typical logistics company.
No.
Combines both this heavy operations, heavy lifting, and also tech, which brings me to the question about talent and how you manage to, how do you manage both to hire for this particular work environment, and also how do you manage culture? How do you combine those who are there at the warehouses and those who are sitting with their laptops across Europe?
It is true. It is two very different environments. That's also why I think like 2 years ago, we decided to specialize within the people team. So basically have one dedicated people team just taking care of our fulfillment associates in our Hive operated fulfillment centers. Because people there, they work shifts, they're standing and walking all day long. It's a totally different setup, and also that totally different needs to the other part of Hive, which is sitting on a laptop all day long.
100%.
So how do we do that? I think by, on the one side, acknowledging that we're one Hive, but also acknowledging that we do have different needs and trying to meet them. I personally take care of all office people across the locations, which is then another dimension with different offices, but it's a similar type of people and similar types of needs now.
Which do you think is easier to manage?
I don't think there's an easier. I think it's just very different. Because when you're in a fulfillment center, you have different kind of question, different motivation also to join. And there is no easier, to be honest. I think it's just very different.
Agreed. Who do you think, now thinking of these two worlds at the same time, what do you think that one sort of common trait that both these worlds, or rather representatives of those two worlds have, which, helps them thrive at Hive? What is that one common trait regardless of whether it is a hire at the warehouse or at the, in the tech team, what is that one thing?
I think it's being curious and being motivated, like knowing your why somehow. I think that applies more to people in the offices, but I think that curiosity and openness to thrive, to like drive things forward, because also our fulfillment centers do have new processes. In the offices, we want people that know, okay, I'm here because I want to grow personally, but also I want to grow this business. I have something unique to bring to the table, and I'm here to move things. I'm here because I want to, and because I have my personal motivation to be here.
I guess that is one universal trait that could help you out anywhere.
Exactly. I mean, it's pretty broad, but still super hard to find.
Agreed.
And I would say we found a lot of people already that are exceptional talent, do have great skills. And also I mean, coming with a different background I do think that skills matter more than what you have on your CV.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, if you have great steps, great career steps, that matters as well. But if you bring skills to the table that we need and you haven't had the 5 main big companies, but you bring exactly what is needed, that's perfect. And also, you don't always need to tick all boxes. Sometimes the motivation and the potential is enough. Like if you see, okay, this person really has a potential, and that's what comes back to why. This is why I'm here. That's my internal motivation. People are super motivated to thrive, like to move forward, to learn. And this is what is important, because like this only company grows.
It sounds like a very gentle, welcoming environment.
I hope we are. At least that's what we're trying.
At least you posted recently a success story. You shared a story of someone growing from an intern to talent partner in just 2 years. That was. Yeah. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that particular success story, and maybe any others which are similar to this.
Yeah, happy to. I do think we have a lot of those success stories, actually. In this particular case, he started as an intern in people operations and started the whole people operations path, let's say. Back then, we also did not have talent acquisition, so it was not even an idea. But last year, we started building up the talent acquisition team again. And this was like, hey, actually, this is super interesting. And he basically learned from scratch anything that had to do with talent acquisition. And that's why coming back to the why into this, okay, I really want this. And then you get the resources and the coaching, and you're able to, because you're in an environment where it's supported to grow, To
be sort of a clean slate and being curious and
exactly
learning on the go.
Yeah. But also if you look at, we had some transitions from customer operations into product, or from the classical one would be SDR, so sales development representatives. It's usually an entry to sales career. So either into a sales head where you're leading the SDR team, or you can transition into business development or account management. There's a lot of internal mobility going on in that way.
So you're saying in order to create that momentum for people to almost, skyrocket, from an intern to a partner in 2 years, you need to be forgiving, and you need to be gentle, you need to be patient, and you need to be courageous enough to give someone a chance who does not have sort of the record of the similar experience on their CV.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, in the end, results matter. We're ambitious, and we're thriving to build that together,
Fast growth can stretch culture thin easily. How do you make sure to take care of culture and make sure that it is on point while you are in the process of scaling?
I think this is a very tough one, but let's maybe taking a step back. I do also think it is normal that culture changes in the growth stages. For example, one of our values like 2 or 3 years ago was do more with less. which is great in an early stage because you do not have a lot. You want to do a lot more with less. But at this stage where you're already a bit grown up, it might not fit anymore, that value or the core culture. Of course, you shouldn't just spend money because you have money. This kind of stage, but it's not the main focus anymore. You want to focus on caring. You want to focus on the whole driving and ownership. You want to focus on skills. You want to focus on development. And so, first of all, I do think it's normal that values or all the whole culture develops. But I also think it's important to have these core values to be able to take decisions based on that. So how do we run performance review cycles? How do we evaluate performance? One of the core parts is meritocracy. So any decision that we take, let it be in a performance review cycle or also in a day-to-day, whoever has the best answer, the best solution to that, no matter which career level, should win. Because if someone just wins because they're in a higher level, that doesn't help the company, you know?
Fair square. I feel like the hiring landscape has changed a lot in the past years. It's a little bit less hype and, more focused on sustainability. How have you changed your approach to finding talent and to maintaining talent in regards to that?
I think hype to sustainability describes it quite well. I remember it's already 3 years ago where we had quite a rapid growth and we were hiring whatever we needed. And we're kind of exploding. It felt crazy cool at that time. But looking back, it did not only help us because we hired people that we might not have needed, also from a skill base. So on the hiring side, what we're focusing now is a lot on also sustainability. Like, do we really need this person? Like proper headcount planning. Do we hire enough? But also we don't hire too much?
How do you make sure that you're not doing too little and too much?
We try to be in contact with all our workstream leads basically and be super close to the teams on like how are the teams doing? Are we expecting anyone to leave? How the hiring process is going? Trying to be super close, and that, of course, somehow relating to the budget, because otherwise the connection is not there anymore. But yeah, what was I about to say? What is also important there is, I think, to sometimes jump in and say, because sometimes we really need someone now, yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And if you then hire someone who's maybe on a side, might not be perfect, but it's someone.
Mm-hmm.
We try to
avoid that
because you want a perfect fit. You want someone who's like the person you've always looking for. Of course, that's sometimes hard to find. But in the end, if we're only getting people that are really strong, we strongly believe they will thrive. This is a win-win. They thrive, we thrive. It's always a people business part. There's no business without people, and the other way around.
Are there any trends that you're currently curious about, interested in, or maybe even implementing already? For example, do you believe in remote work, or do you believe in AI and its benefits?
I think both of them are interesting. But if you look at the setup that we do have fulfillment centers. We're live in multiple locations. We have remote people somewhere in the world on the engineering team. There is no one size fits all. We believe in only remote because all our fulfillment centers need to be operated on site. So we rather want to have people on site in the offices to collaborate with each other. And because especially for younger people, we saw that they're easier to coach. It's a bit quicker to see where they are at.
If they're on site.
Yeah, not every day. But there's flexibility, as always.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not thriving to go for full remote.
Mm-hmm.
Also, due to the nature of the business. There is always on-site needs in operations. And that's part of the core of the company.
And what are other trends that you are on the lookout currently?
Talked about AI. So I think that's the one you can't go around.
Yeah.
And super helpful. But I think also in some points important to not overuse.
Mm-hmm.
We obviously use it in communications. In like ChatGPT, I think everyone kind of uses it and no one really is an expert, but everyone does, you know? So I think this is one part where we started exchanging like, hey, what's your personal best practice with that? How do you set up your account? That's like one part. But also we use Notion, and Notion is our internal brain. We do have a lot of knowledge in there. Also a lot of pages that are like old and we need to update, but Notion has an AI as well. So instead of building a separate knowledge process documentation, we put everything in Notion, clean up Notion, and now we can use Notion AI to ask, hey, where can I find
Love that.
this and that? How do I add vacation, etc.?
And where do you think AI should not be used? On the contrary,
where can it not be? Should it not be used? I do think that sometimes people overuse it in also external communication. Mm-hmm. When we are communicating with partners, you can kind of see that this message is not human. And then you're like, great that you sent me a book as an answer. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be easier to just do it shorter and human, and then we can move on quicker instead of me reading the whole book and then we're doing 5 circles more? So I think this is also part of the learning and how people in general, not only Hive or us, use AI or in the communication part. Yeah, I think that's one of the more obvious challenges.
100%. Here's the tricky one. What is that one unpopular opinion about HR work that you have that maybe others would not disagree with, but yet you stand by it?
I'm sure if there's only one or if people would disagree. But I personally really believe that we're a team and not a family. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's popular or unpopular. I think there's still companies that say, hey, we're a big family. And I'm like, ooh, no. It doesn't feel right. And also in a family, you can't choose your members. In a team, we're coming back to the sports topic, by the way. You all have a common goal. You want all to go in the same direction. Everyone has their spots where they're best at. Everyone helps each other and you care about each other. And I think these are super important parts that should be incorporated in a company, not as hey, we're a family, we're anyways here, so let's just do whatever.
I think it would be 50-50 distribution, in my opinion. But good one. And I love that framing about a sports team rather than a family. Sports team having a common goal ahead. Cool. So would you maybe name a couple of challenges that you're currently facing at Hive? Something that you're currently trying to change, or maybe something that you already did change in the recent past.
I can maybe jump on the TA topic again. I mentioned that we didn't do TA on a people side unless like 1 year ago. We had a phase where we were hiring a lot. 4 years ago, we had a TA team. They were like, okay, wait, that's way too much. So we gave the hiring part back to the hiring managers, and the people team was more on a process support side. But the hiring managers were running their own processes on their own, which is a lot of extra workload if you not only have one role, but maybe multiple roles to fill. So we realized, okay, I think we should restart the project, the whole function talent acquisition, which we did last year. And that's also how the transition came into place from my team member. And I think this is it was a challenge, and we addressed it by building a new function. And by now we have 2 people doing the talent acquisition part, and we're able to support all roles, not all in an active support, but we're in contact with all hiring managers. With that, we can also streamline it better on like, who do we hire a bit earlier in the process, on to like shape a bit more which talent we bring in, mm-hmm. and how we bring them in as well, because the whole candidate experience around that is super important.
2 people, you said? 2 people, you said.
Yeah.
Is the whole is
Currently,
the
yes.
total number
Yeah.
of team members
For talent acquisition.
probably leveraging automation a lot.
Yes.
How do you manage to have 2 people there in the team?
I mean, we're not having 50 roles online, so we're at 30-ish. So that's fine, because I think also historically hiring managers were a lot involved in hiring, which I think is a positive thing. And they also, coming back to values again, they take the responsibility and they take the ownership in the hiring process as well. And I think only like this you can run the whole thing. Because if TA is there and like, hey, I have 500 candidates for you, but they're like, yeah, actually, that's not what I need. They wasted time and they wasted time. So they need to work closely together to understand what they need. And then we're doing fine with that.
Maybe let me rephrase my previous question and pose it in a different way. Instead of telling me, the challenges or the issues that you're currently facing, maybe you could describe rather, the picture that you are striving towards in the future. Maybe there is already sort of a dream workplace in mind that you envision for Hive and that you sort of hope to see in 2030.
I think so. The aim is to create the best workplace we can. And for me, this is also coming back to the sustainability part again, is about healthy and happy growth. Because we experienced times where we grew a lot and exploded. That wasn't super healthy. We experienced time where it was a bit slower. That was okay, but not that exciting. So I think if we find that middle way of, hey, it's super fun, we're thriving, we have a lot of great talent on board, we're ambitious, but we're growing. I think that's the path we're currently going.
I guess the tough part there is to negotiate it with the management. What's the sustainable pace that you are moving with?
Yeah. I also think it's so important to keep a few things that we're already doing, which is bringing people together physically, especially when you're spread around 7 locations now. We just went live in the Netherlands last week. So it's 7 locations now in all the roles. And we know that when people meet in person, it's always easier to connect afterwards as well. Because just writing someone on Slack that you've never met before, yes, you do that, but it takes some effort to get there.
It does.
And it also helps to unite better and like agree on, okay, that's Hive. One Hive, but we're represented in multiple locations. I think that's important to keep.
You're sort of surpassing me. As my next question would be, what is that thing that you want to keep in the future, or you wish stays, and one thing that you really, really want to let go?
There's nothing specific I want to stop or let go, because I think in the core we're still the same. I joined Hive 4.5 years ago when we were 30 people, and now we're over 450. Of course, a lot of them are in our fulfillment centers, but the share of office people is increasing. So what is important for me is to keep that core. And for me personally, it still feels like it is Hive, even though we grew a lot.
Thank you. For people out there who are considering Hive as a workplace, maybe you could give, a piece of advice to those considering Hive, but also maybe name one sort of quality that you always need when hiring for any kind of role.
Happy to. I think it's a bit what I mentioned before already. We care about results, but we also want to have fun caring about the results. It's important to come in with motivation to bring in what you can bring in and then make it grow the business and grow yourself. So we're a fan of giving constant feedback, because if you receive feedback and give feedback, you can also grow, It sometimes hurts. Receiving feedback sometimes hurts. That's just the reality. But in the long run, it makes us better.
And it creates sort of that consistency and expectation system, which
exactly
calms you down and sort of helps you.
You need to know what you're expectations are, your own expectations are when you're joining, but also we share what are our expectations to you when you're joining. So both of this, if that's matching, perfect.
So genuine desire to grow and ability to take criticism.
But also to share feedback. Because if you only take feedback, but you have a lot of feedback inside of yourself, you're there for a reason. You were hired for a reason. So you are the one who should also share the feedback that you see about, I don't know, let it be processes, let it be culture, etc. That's the only way how we can get better. Because if people don't share what they think, it's hard to guess, you know?
There is one underrated sort of source of truth, asking employees for feedback of how and where we can change something about the team structure or the way we work.
I think that's super important because, you're in that team structure every day. And if you have something to share when you're getting asked or also proactively, this can only be a positive one. Maybe it also is normal that you don't necessarily agree on feedback. It's also fine, but someone takes the time to share it. So we're there to listen, to see what we do with that.
Thank you so much for the listen. It's been Charlotte Theiß, leading people at Hive. Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you, Diana.